She called 911, breathless, panicked, and running for her life. On the line, she gasped for air, pleading for help as a man closed in behind her. Then, the call went silent. Within hours, Jamilla Smith had vanished without a trace. What followed was a harrowing 5-month search, shocking arrests, and a grim discovery buried deep in the woods, revealing the terrifying truth of her final moments. This was not just a disappearance, it was the unraveling of a nightmare hidden in plain sight. Jamilla Smith had tried to protect herself, calling for help more than once, but the danger kept circling back. What investigators would later uncover was a disturbing pattern of abuse, a twisted cover-up, and a betrayal so close it left her family shattered. Jamilla Smith was born on May 26, 1993, in Sanford, North Carolina. Her life began within the close embrace of a blended family. While her biological father, James Smith, also known as Malika, remained a part of her story, it was her mother, Tina McCraw, and stepfather, Pierre McCraw, who shaped the foundation of her upbringing. They provided not only guidance but a deep sense of belonging. Within their home, family was more than a word. It was a sacred bond. Through their care, Jamilla grew to value connection, loyalty, and unconditional love. As a child, Jamilla's life was constantly on the move. Her mother's military career meant relocating to different parts of the world, exposing her to diverse cultures and environments. These experiences shaped her adaptability and broadened her outlook on life. Despite the challenges of frequent moves, Jamilla remained grounded, maintaining her sense of identity and purpose. When her family finally settled in North Carolina, she continued her education and went on to graduate from Pine Forest High School in Fayetteville. Her years there were filled with growth and resilience, preparing her for the future she envisioned for herself. Jamilla's personality left a mark wherever she went. Known for her bright smile and warm presence, she had a heart that poured out love without hesitation. Her compassion extended beyond her family, touching friends and even strangers who crossed her path. She had a gift for humor, a witty spirit that brought laughter and lightness in even the most difficult moments. Her giving nature was not just an extension of how she was raised, it was who she was at her core. Jamilla carried herself with a mix of strength and tenderness that made her unforgettable. In May 2023, Jamilla took a step that reflected her inner transformation. She gave her life to Christ. It was a spiritual turning point that deepened her sense of direction. At the heart of her world were her 2 sons, Noah and Moses, who meant everything to her. She embraced motherhood with commitment and love, striving to give her children the kind of nurturing home she had known. One of her sons was shared with her former boyfriend, Daniel Harmon. Their relationship had evolved over time, but from the outside, her life seemed to be moving forward, anchored in faith, family, and personal growth. That sense of stability was shattered when Daniel was later charged with her kidnapping and murder. The man who had once been part of her daily life, the father of her child, was now at the center of a disturbing and painful investigation. What had appeared to be a life marked by love and peace ended in unimaginable tragedy. The betrayal cut deep, leaving those who loved Jamilla devastated and searching for answers. Before her disappearance, Jamilla had already made it known that she feared for her safety. Her relationship with her ex-boyfriend, Daniel, was marred by a disturbing pattern of domestic violence. According to records from the Aiken County Sheriff's Office, Jamilla had reached out to authorities on 3 separate occasions, July 2nd, August 22nd, and November 9th, alleging acts of abuse at Daniel's hands. These reports painted a picture of a woman trying to protect herself in a situation that was becoming increasingly volatile. Despite the clear warning signs, the danger persisted. Jamilla had been living in Aiken County, but made the decision to move to Florida in July 2023 to be closer to her family. It was a move that suggested she was trying to distance herself from the chaos and reclaim a sense of peace. However, on December 1st, she returned to South Carolina to settle matters related to her car. That evening, she called her mother from Harmon's phone, explaining that he had thrown her own phone out of the vehicle and she needed help locating it. Fortunately, her family had access to her location and were able to guide her to where the phone had landed. Later that night, she informed her mother that she planned to stay at Daniel's house, and thanked her for the help. "That's the last time I spoke to her," her mother said. The following day, December 2nd, the situation escalated dramatically. Jamilla called 911 3 times, frantically reporting that Daniel had broken into her residence and was chasing her down the street. In one of those calls, she could be heard breathing heavily, clearly in distress, while a male voice echoed in the background. Those calls would be the last confirmed communication from Jamilla. At that time, she was still in Aiken County and in the presence of Daniel, according to reports. Her sudden silence following such alarming phone calls was deeply concerning. Unable to contact her daughter, Jamilla's mother's worry turned to fear. She filed a missing persons report when all attempts to reach Jamilla failed. The urgency of the situation intensified when, on December 5th, Daniel was arrested on suspicion of serious charges, including kidnapping and murder. But even with his arrest, the whereabouts of Jamilla Smith remained unknown. Then, on December 23rd, Daniel was formally charged. An arrest affidavit revealed the horrifying detail that investigators believed Daniel struck Jamilla with a vehicle. The situation had become even more grim as it became clear that her final moments may have been filled with unimaginable terror. Further court documents uncovered that Jamilla had endured brutal violence from Daniel just 1 month before she vanished. On November 10th, at the same Beach Island address where she was last seen, Daniel allegedly used both hands to strangle her, causing visible injuries to her neck and blocking her airway. This chilling history added weight to the 911 calls placed on December 2nd. In one of them, Jamilla could be heard shouting, "You hit me," while pleading with the male voice to leave her alone. Her cries captured a desperate struggle, one that tragically may have ended her life. As the months dragged on, the search for Jamilla Smith continued with little progress. Then, after nearly 5 months of uncertainty and anguish, the case took a new turn. On April 19th, 2024, a second individual was charged in connection with the case. Brian Hampton, 35 years old and a cousin of Daniel, turned himself in to authorities. He was charged with accessory after the fact to murder. According to an arrest affidavit, investigators believe that Hampton had played a disturbing role in the aftermath of the crime, helping Daniel dispose of Jamilla's remains. The case widened further when a third suspect, 46-year-old Clyde James Hendley, was arrested shortly thereafter. Hendley, an associate of both Daniel and Hampton, was also charged with accessory after the fact to murder. The charges pointed to a troubling collaboration among the three men, suggesting that the effort to conceal what had happened to Jamilla involved more than one person. Despite the arrests, the location of Jamilla Smith remained unknown, leaving loved ones in limbo. Then, a breakthrough came. On Thursday, May 9, 2024, law enforcement officials located human remains in a wooded area along Silver Bluff Road in Aiken County, South Carolina. The discovery was made with the assistance of the Aiken County Sheriff's Office, the Aiken County Coroner, and the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. In a tragic twist, the area where the remains were found had already been searched earlier in the investigation, yet something had been missed. On Monday, May 13th, an autopsy was conducted in Newberry, South Carolina. The results confirmed what many had feared. The remains belonged to Jamilla Smith, and the cause of death was determined to be gunshot wounds to the head. Aiken County Coroner Darrell Abels publicly confirmed the autopsy findings. With the cause of death now known, the focus returned to those already in custody. Daniel Harmon faced charges of kidnapping and murder. The two men linked to him, Brian Hampton and Clyde Hendley, remained held on charges of accessory after the fact to murder. Though the discovery brought a form of closure, it also delivered a fresh wave of heartbreak. The Aiken County Sheriff's Office announced that the investigation remained ongoing. More questions still needed answers, and the process of building the case was far from over. For Jamilla's family, the confirmation of her fate was devastating, but it also marked the beginning of a new pursuit: justice for Jamilla. The long, painful wait for answers had ended, but the fight to hold those responsible had only just begun. What are your thoughts about this story? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. If you are new to the channel and like the content, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for upcoming episodes. Your support is greatly appreciated. Until next time, I will see you on Urban Crime Stories.